Hello, my name is Matt Mosier. I am a forecaster here at the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma, and I'm also the developer of this prototype interactive local storm reports page. Just wanted to take some time to go over some changes to this prototype page and just some improvements I think we've made to the page over the last prototype. So it's kind of long, but please stick with me as we move forward. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was what's available in the top menu, and basically there's a button for the legacy LSR page, which is the home page that most of you are probably familiar with seeing. We have a previous prototype page that's also available, and then I really wanted to draw your attention to this comments button here. If you have any questions or comments about the page, you can click that. There's a form there you can fill out, and I will get that, and I would be happy to address any issues you have and try to answer any questions you have as well. Next thing I wanted to show is some of the date functionality built in. I'm recording this in mid-December, so you can see that's today's date in that, and some of the availability there. So you can toggle through different dates. Obviously, there's been no severe on these days, but I'll show some of it, some severe as well. So going back to May 16th was a fairly active severe weather day. So you can change that, and the page will change and load that information up for you. Last thing I wanted to show kind of in this main bar is this auto refresh or manual refresh. You can set the refresh rate of the page. It's not actually going to reload the entire page. It's really just going to reload the reports. And so you can set that to any time, and you can watch the time count down to the next update. Or if you don't want to wait that long, you can just manually update it. We're not going to see any reports because this is an old event. We're not going to see anything coming in, but reports can come in pretty frequently on a busy day, so setting that refresh rate could be pretty helpful. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off for this demo so that it doesn't get in the way. Okay, moving on, I wanted to talk about one of the major changes is this tabbed functionality. At least it's one of the major changes versus the previous prototype page. We have the ability to plot winter reports, rain and flood reports, and also wildfire and lightning reports, all on the same map. And so you can see as I turn all those on, that those reports available, those report types do plot on the map. And so you can plot a lot and see a lot of information fairly quickly this way. One thing you can also do, not only are these tabs available, but the report tabs within those tabs also. So if you were just concerned with, in this tab, in the heavy rain tab, just concerned with heavy rain in the rain flood tab, you can turn those on and say you just wanted to see heavy snow. You can go through and just turn on the heavy snow reports and see those, and that's obviously available in severe as well. And say we just wanted to see tornado from that tab, we can do that, and turning it's easy to turn many of these things off and on. So that's a functionality that was added to the page that I think is an improvement on the page, and so that's a quick way to go through and to plot the information you want. I'm going to turn on all severe here, and as you can see that the legend on the map also changes as we do this to help us understand how many reports are coming in and the report totals and that type of thing for this day. Next thing I wanted to demo was a much requested feature on the map, and that was to include zooming capabilities. And so as you can see, I'm using the scroll wheel on the mouse to zoom in and out of the map. You can also use the buttons here on the upper left to zoom in and out. This is much requested, and we're able to get that functionality in here, so we're excited about that. Another thing you can do on the map is to actually click the reports. And so you click a report and you can bring up the information provided by the Weather Service office for that report. And that's was also requested quite a bit, and so you can go through quickly and get a lot of information and see just where and when these reports were occurring. One other functionality that was added to this is the ability to share the report. You can share the report on various social media platforms or via email if you want to do that. What that's really going to do is share a link, and have that link you can paste into your browser, and it will open up the page zoomed in on the report with a display that would look something like this. If you were to share the report, it would come up looking like that. So that's a quick way to share information, and something we think enhances the page quite a bit. Let me zoom back out, and so you can see I have basically this kind of a national topographical map, which lists some features and things like that. The base map can also be changed to several different things of your choice. There's just light gray, which is a clean looking map and can be used and preferred by several of the forecasters here. But there's also a fairly detailed road map. It's not detailed until you get to zoom in, but as you zoom in on reports, you can see a lot of information is provided. And so that can be interesting too, just to see where the reports occurred, how close they were to cities or other areas and points of interest. And so I'm going to go ahead and put that the National Geographic map back on there. I like this one. Something else we can do is, so we still have some overlay capabilities here. So we can still overlay outlooks. And this was also something that was available on the other prototype page that was requested and desired, and we were able to get that in here, and we're excited about that. And so you can go through and kind of see how the outlook changes throughout the day. We also included the day 2 and day 3 outlooks for this same day, so you can get an idea of how the outlook progressed through the kind of the forecast cycle. And so looking at the outlook, you can do the categorical outlook with a legend down here in the bottom left, or you can do the individual hazards with the probabilities and the legend there, also down there in the lower left. I'm going to take those off for now. One feature we did add also was the ability to plot mesoscale discussions. And so this is pretty interesting to see just where the reports are in reference to where the discussions are. And so you can see there's a bunch of discussions on this day. And so we have the ability, we can kind of clear the map and maybe look at just one or two if we wanted. Click that, you can get some information about the MD, and if you want to actually click it and link and read the text related to the MD and everything, that information is available there. You can use only active MDs. That's obviously not going to work on a day like today where we're looking in the past, but if you wanted to see MDs that were actually active, MDs are usually valid from about 2 to 4 hours, and so you can take a look at that way. There's not any winter MDs on this day, so it's not going to be very helpful, but if you wanted to see only winter MDs or you wanted to see only severe MDs, that functionality is available as well. Something else we've added to the page is the ability to plot watches. This was actually much requested by the forecasters here, and is a great tool to kind of help with situational awareness. And so you can plot active watches just like you could with MDs. Obviously, in this case, there's not going to be any active watches because we're looking at a day in the past. But really, really cool to be able to go in here and see just the reports that have shown up in various watches. You can click and get some information about the watch, including the threats, the time, the start time, the end time, what type of watch. Severe watches are plotted in blue, while the tornado watches are plotted in red. So that's really helpful information. It's something that the forecasters here really like, and so it's a great addition to the page. And typical overlays, like if you want to look at states, counties. The county overlay is gray because if the black just took over the map, so it's gray, but if you zoom in, you can see the counties pretty well. And another one is the CWAs, which is how the Weather Service has divided areas of responsibility across the country. One last thing I wanted to show with the map here, let me go ahead and turn off CWAs, is what's in this options gear in the top right of the map. So if you click that, you can see there's a button here to create an image, and you click that, it'll create a PNG image that you can then right click and save. And so this is useful if you want to share an image in social media or email, or just want to, in a presentation, want to create an image. That's very helpful to do that. Next thing you can do in this options area is to basically, if you don't like these tabs and you want to take them off, you have the ability to do that there. For some reason that you think that clutters the page, you just want them there, don't want them there, you can take it off. What this tab will probably be used for mostly is changing the order of the layers. As you can see, this is the default layer order available for severe, and so we know you get severe weather reports a lot of times in the same locations. And so, one example is down here in Oklahoma and Texas, where it looks like there's tornado reports plotted on top of hail reports. If you wanted to see the SIG hail reports there, you have the ability to do that. If wind gust reports are the most important to you, you have the ability to put those on top. And so this is just where you can change some of the layers and the order of the layers and get the map, behaving the way you like. And so I'm going to go ahead and restore the defaults there with tornadoes on the top. But that's where the ability to change the layer order is. Moving on, we're going to talk about what's down here a little bit lower in the page. And what we have here is the ability to filter reports. This was available on the previous prototype page and is available here as well with some improved functionality. You have a proximity filter, which will use some logic to determine if the reports are clustered close together and filter those out. But what I really wanted to show was some of the added functionality available with the watch filter. Now this is something that the forecasters here really like. I'm going to go ahead and turn those on so we can see what's going on. But we can filter the reports by the watch area and time that those reports occurred. And so we can go ahead and do that. And you see now we filtered the reports to just show us the reports that are available when those watches were in effect. We can also do a state filter here. Now we've got those out, and we can even do a CWA filter. And so one thing to note about the filters is that they are cumulative. So when you place many filters like this, it's going to really show you just the reports that are very specifically, addressing those specific filters that you have in place. So let me go ahead and take some of these filters off and just leave the watch filters on. Another thing that's available, these are pretty self-explanatory, is just some data filters. And these will filter only on the report type in question. So if we wanted to just see hail that was greater than 2 inches, we have the ability to filter the map by that, by leaving all the other reports on there as well. If we only want to see measured wind gusts, we have the ability to filter the map that way. And so one thing to note, we can filter by tornado intensity or tornado damage rating, but not all the information is going to be in every LSR. So we see a lot of tornado reports here. Then maybe 1 or 2 of those will be filtered, have rating information in it. You can see there's only 2 reports that have rating information in them. And that's pretty common, as most of the data is preliminary and doesn't have the rating information in there. So I feel like those filters are pretty self-explanatory, as are the time filters. And so you have the ability to filter by various times. And so when we do that, you change the amount of reports that are going to be shown. If we wanted to just see reports that are after 21Z, we have the ability to do that, and they will plot those reports on the map. It also updates the table below, but we will talk about that in a little bit. And if you're not comfortable using UTC time, you have the ability to change it to the a time zone maybe that you're familiar with. And all that really does is change the labels and change the times in the table. It won't change any of the filtering until you actually maybe you drag this time slider. But I feel like that stuff's pretty self-explanatory, so we're going to go ahead and move on to talking about what's in the table. Last thing I wanted to show is the reports table that's here on the bottom of the page. This information contained in the table is the same information contained when you click the report, and it pops up the dialog box on the map, but it's just available in a different form in a table. And so what you can do with the table, you can sort by time, by magnitude, by state. You can sort by all of these different things. You can sort by fatality and injury information if it's available in the LSR. It's typically not, but sometimes it is. You can sort by all of those things. Typically, I have these sorted by time. Now when you filter above, it'll actually filter this table below. So if you just had tornadoes posted up and filtered up on the map, that's what would be listed here. But you can use some text to also filter the table if you want. Put tornado in there and just get tornado reports. If you happen to know the CWA, you can type the CWA. Anything that you can imagine, the county, the state, any of those things can be filtered there as well to provide the information in the table. Last thing to show is this button here on the upper right part of the table, that if you want to click that will download all the data for the day, and you can have that and put that in a spreadsheet and do with it whatever you would like. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you found this helpful. Again, There's a comments button here. If you have questions or comments, let us know. And thanks for taking time out of your day to take a look at this page. Thank you.